Well, I promised some more info on my haul from the auction. Well, I got, this is an 03 Kawasaki Prairie 650, and bought it non-running. Paid $500 for it at the auction, expecting to have a real headache. Well, the sucker runs. Just got it running. I mean, it'll start and run, but smokes quite a bit, so that may be why they parked it. It may end up pulling that engine anyway and putting new rings. I was pretty excited that this thing actually started and ran. It rolled forward and reverse, so the transmission works. I'm thinking maybe they parked it just because it was smoking really bad. I don't know, but see if I can get her cleaned up to a point where it'll run on its own, and take it out, ride it around a little bit, and see if that smoke clears up. And if it doesn't, then I guess I'll be planning to rebuild the engine, but I don't know, I might try dumping some Restore in it or something. I don't know. We'll see. I got a gas leak I gotta fix before I can get her, before I can take it out and play around. I wrestled the engine out of there. I'm obviously not going to go through all the steps with it. If you're looking for steps, or a pretty good example of how it's done, you can check out DeBoss Garage. Rich DeBoss has he worked on a brute force, but it's essentially identical, and it's a pretty good, he gave you a pretty good overview of how it's done, so I'm not going to go through that. But what I am going to show you is, apparently, it got overheated. These prairies are known for running hot, as are the brute forces. So you got to be vigilant about keeping the radiator clean. And I'm assuming this was a rancher, given all of the grass seed that was stuck in the undercarriage, so probably riding through pastures. But swelled up the piston too far and scored the cylinder. So now we're gonna figure out what I need to do, if I can get it bored, or what I'm gonna do, because I'm probably gonna run out of money this month. It's only the 11th of the month, and quite frankly got a long way to go, so I don't know. I was hoping that it would just be something simple, you know, I could just hone it and re-ring it, but that's too bad. I can't hone that. I mean, I could try, but it would be a Mickey Mouse kind of deal, and Lord knows how much I'd have off. So yeah. So, I don't know. Wash out in the light there. I don't know. I guess, God, this is just, it's kind of frustrating. I mean, I guess I didn't really expect to just band-aid it back together. I was just hoping that I would be able to. But now, since it's been overheated, I'm wondering if I shouldn't take a look at those connecting rod bearings and see what they look like. I don't know. Anyway, let's see, where are we here? Where are you? There you are. Camshaft. Doesn't really have, oh, pay attention to where my camera is here, sorry about that. Doesn't really have any damage to speak of. It looks pretty good. I gotta look it over closer, but I wanted to point this out. Kawasaki has a automatic compression release. And if you check out Rich's video, he'd show you that how this thing, or he'd point this out as well. But The flyweights come out as the engine revs up. So once you get it started, basically, this spring's pretty light. So once you get it started, these weights will overcome the spring and pull this little, basically it's a little button right there. You see it? There's a cam inside a cam. Basically, it's a brilliant design, to be honest. It could get stuck if you didn't change your oil very often, but you can see that little piston moving. So basically what that does is, on compression release, that little button sticks out, and you see it's on the, let's see, yeah, it's on the 180 of the exhaust on the cam. So it would be basically at the top of the compression stroke, or very near the top of the compression stroke. And what it does is it comes around and schmucks the, you can see the little line on there, schmucks the exhaust rocker and just bops those exhaust valves open for just a second. They just tap open for just a second, just to dump some of the compression off of it. And voila, it's compression drops and it's easier to start. So I guess next order of business will be to look at these valves and see what they look like, see what the head looks like, since it's been overheated, Lord knows. But yeah, I guess I'll just keep you guys posted. Okay, I finally got my cylinders and piston kit. I ended up going with the company on eBay. Can't remember the name right offhand. I'll have to get it and mention it in a later video, but overall looks pretty good. They sandblasted everything. Looks like it might have been got a little bit of flash rust on the surface there. Looks like maybe they've been sitting on a shelf for a while, but not too big of a deal. I can probably take a hone to it and touch them up real quick, but they already have them honed. So came with Nomura pistons. These are oversized. Let's see. I don't really recall exactly what the oversized dimension was, but it came with pistons, pins, and rings. I'm out of there. Okay. Pin, sear clip. I'll have to do it with one hand, but there we go. Front. And it says, not sure we can get the camera focused on it, but right down here it says 80.96. Oh, there we go. 80.96. So they're overboard quite a ways, but not. I didn't want it to be that big, but it's what I ended up with. Yeah, it was $350 for the whole thing shipped to me, so I can get $40 per cylinder when I send those back. So I'll get $80 back after I ship those back to them. But I guess I'm gonna get started pulling the pistons off and we'll go from there. Alright, so I've got one side on, new, well, it's not new, it's a overboard jug, and my rebuilt head, rocker cover and everything's on there. I've got the jug set on this side, the new piston and rings and all that goodies, and getting ready to set the head on, and then we'll let's see, and then it'll be cam and rockers and set the overhead, and then I'm going to give her a couple of tugs with the ripcord there and make sure everything rolls over just fine, and then we'll be putting her in.